Want to help and support the show? Become a patron on our Patreon. We have 3 tiers that will fit anyone's budget, and we also have a store with merchandise from Coda and Ashton Green, renowned for his webtoon series, Evil Call. Thank you for the support and love that we've received, and enjoy the episode. Hi, welcome to the Dartarian Show. I'm Alexander Dartarian.
And I'm Dominic Sykes.
And today we're going to do another urban legends state. It's going to be Maine this time.
Stephen King's
playground
state. Yeah.
Anyone who's familiar with Stephen King's work, Derry, Maine is a huge staple in his books, especially It. I think it was The Shining in Maine too, or no?
No, The Shining takes place in Colorado.
Oh, so The Shining, Pet Cemetery, that all takes place in Colorado?
I can't remember where Pet Cemetery is. I know for sure that The Shining is, but
what about The Stand?
The Stand takes place partly in Colorado too.
Oh, okay. So Colorado and Maine is, I guess, his playgrounds.
Yeah.
But let's get into some urban legends. The Sabatis well descent. According to this story, a group of teens dared a friend to be lowered into a well in Sabatis. The well, located in the back of a cemetery, was reported to be haunted, but the young boy agreed to the challenge in order to impress the group.
Of course.
Yep. Sitting atop a rubber tire, the boy was lowered down into the well for many minutes before his friends could no longer see him. When they realized that there was no movement at the end of the rope, the boys pulled up their friend and found him very changed. The boy's hair had turned stark white. His entire body shook, and he was unable to form coherent sentences.
He's seen some shit.
Yeah. His laughter indicated that he had gone insane, and his appearance was that of a very old man. The boy never came back from this state, and is said to randomly scream from the windows of the county mental institution where he now lives.
So what do you think it is that he saw down there?
I don't know. It could be a portal to hell. There are numerous portals to hell.
Reminds me of It.
Yeah.
The deadlights.
The deadlights, yeah.
What's his face sees Bowser sees or Bauer, Henry Bauer sees those deadlights wherever his hair turns like bright white.
Yeah. Anytime when you're scared to that point, like it's happened before, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if your whole hair turns white, but I know like you get streaks of white in your hair. But I've never seen someone instantly turn white. I don't think that's possible.
I don't think so.
Okay. The next one is the monster of Poco Moonshine Lake. This lake is in Washington County. Is held stories of lake monsters for as long as a Mainer in the area can remember.
So pretty much any lake's going to have probably a story
any kind of big body of water is going to have something in it. Yeah. Some have reported seeing the snake-like beings along the with the tails that they leave behind. So like basically when they swim, their tail sticks up out of the water or something, I guess. They also leave a trail, like I guess a water trail, like a torpedo would.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like probably just as a big snake.
Yeah. Well, there's no photos of this creature. Locals estimate them to be anywhere from 30 to 60 feet long.
Well, a big snake.
Yeah. And could date back as far as 1873.
Oh, okay.
So the tail sticks out of the water, but they've never thought to take a picture of it.
I don't know.
That just makes me think they're not real.
What we were talking about on one of the other episodes about how nobody ever seems to be able to get a clear picture of anything or a video. It's always like looks like it's shot on a potato. And like all shaky and shit like that. Like, come on. Nobody has steady hands like at all. Especially with these GoPros and shit that we have now.
I know. I just saw a GoPro on a freaking Falcon over Dubai.
Right.
Like, if we can put a freaking GoPro on a Falcon, I think we can put a GoPro.
And be able to get pretty clear pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
But whatever.
The third one is the Wood Island Lighthouse Haunting.
Also another common thing.
Yeah.
Lighthouses.
Lighthouses are supposed to be
hauntings.
haunted, man. The lighthouse on Wood Island has a few scary theories related to its haunting. In one, the lighthouse is haunted by the ghost of a fisherman, Howard Hobbs, who shot and killed his landlord, Fred Milliken, in 1896. The story goes that Hobbs and his roommate, William Moses, had been drinking heavily when Milliken asked to speak to them about the overdue rent. Hobbs went on to shoot Milliken in the chest before he turned the gun on himself inside the Wood Island lighthouse.
Ask me for rent, will you?
Yeah. And then he kills himself.
Like, you already killed the landlord that was asking for the rent. I mean...
Yeah. Following the suicide, reports of moaning and unexplained shadows began to be told by keepers living in the lighthouse. In 1972, the light was removed, negating the need of any keepers to live within the haunted light. If you take a visit now, you'll see that an automated light now exists, and perhaps you'll hear Hobbs moaning on his own without even a keeper to keep him company. Well, he just wanted some company.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Automation's taking over everything, man.
Yeah, man. The ghosts
A lot of
don't
jobs
have
don't exist anymore because of...
automation. Yeah. The fourth one is the Sanguine Island Lighthouse hauntings. Another lighthouse. In the mid-1800s, the lighthouse was inhabited by a caretaker and his wife. To combat the lonely isolation of the island, the caretaker had a piano shipped to him to keep his wife occupied. He probably should have found out her level of expertise before providing this gift, though. Unfortunately, she only knew one song and played it incessantly.
Well, that's how you get better. You practice.
Eventually, the caretaker could not take it anymore and went a bit insane.
Oh, no.
And destroyed the piano with an axe.
Yeah.
Next, he killed his wife and finally himself. Today, local folks have claimed to have heard the lone song coming from the lighthouse.
What song is it?
I don't know, but
He
destroyed the piano. Why didn't he just leave it at that? Why did he have to kill her too?
Because he went insane.
I don't know.
Nuts.
Yeah,
He's like, bitch, I'll teach you.
He could have just been like, hey, can you
again.
just try to learn a new song?
Or even like been like, okay, well, if you don't know any more songs, just stop playing that song.
Yeah, or not every day.
Yeah, or something. I'm pretty sure that there were some other steps that could have been taken first before he just jumped straight to murder.
Yeah. I mean, but not only that, you would think that he would just be like, talk to her, just like, hey, don't play it every day.
Communication skills there.
I wonder how good she was at that song, though. She must have been really, really good.
Yeah, practicing every single day.
Yeah.
Mastered it.
The Ghost Bride of Haynesville Woods. So we might have another lady in white.
Mm-hmm.
On a wooded road in the outskirts of Haynesville, a newlywed couple traveled on the dark winter night. The story tells us that the groom was drunk and lost control of the car, hitting a telephone pole, which killed him. After the young bride crawled from the wreckage and made her way back to the snowy road, she waited for hours for someone to drive by to help her. However, the conditions of the night meant that nobody was traveling, and the woman never received help. It is reported that she has remained in the same place in her wedding gown, where she eventually froze to death. Travelers on the road have reported seeing the woman in white gown outside of the Haynesville woods. She can still be seen wandering along the side of the road, searching for help that never came.
Why is it always a white gown?
It's easier to see at night.
I guess.
Yeah.
That just doesn't make sense to me. Like, not every single woman in white, I don't think, has died in specifically a white gown. And if they had, that's quite a coincidence.
Yeah.
Like,
Stop wearing white.
Yeah, stop wearing white. Maybe you won't have so many ladies in white. Or maybe they don't get maybe the white gown is just the staple of being a lady in white. Maybe, like, you die and you could die in a black dress or something. You come back and you'd be a lady in white. So you'd have to be in the white dress. I don't know.
I don't know. Some even claim to have actually spoken to the woman. In some situations, she tells the driver of her situation, but as the vehicle approaches closer to the woman, suddenly disappears. So,
see, those ones aren't too scary to me because they're not really hurting anybody.
No, they're like death loops.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, you're.
Yeah, I mean, it would be
scarier.
Out. Yeah, it would be scary, but like, you're just like, what was that?
Yeah.
And then you just drive off.
Yeah, I think you're going nuts.
Yeah. Next one is the Fort William Henry haunting. The fort at Pimacrid Beach in Bristol is said to be haunted by the spirit of a Native American chief, Taka Lexus. He was killed by hanging near the fort in 1696 and said to live in the same tree where he was hanged.
That would suck.
Yeah, you may be able to see him in a form of a white orb near the entrance of the front of the fort. So, I mean, he just stuck on that land. That sucks. The next one is the Robbie Andrews dormitory hauntings. It is said that Robbie Andrews dormitory on the Durham campus of the University of Southern Maine is haunted. Built in the 1800s, the Robbie Andrews dorm is the oldest building on the Gorham campus. Within that time, there have been numerous stories of suicide and murder, many of which include spirits that have stuck around for future generations of students. In one story, a girl hung herself in a tower after learning she was pregnant. In another, a young woman falls to her death in front of a throng of people. Was she pushed? Did she jump herself? It is unclear. One thing is for sure, she hasn't quite found peace, as she can still be seen and heard in around the dorm building. Dorm residents have reported hearing noises and feeling cold areas. Some people have reportedly seen a woman in the tower. Sounds fairly normal until you learn that the tower has been closed off and inaccessible for many, many years. So, I mean, I think it was an all-girl dormitory or something, because it's only women that you see there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like a piece of construction plastic or something that's just like waving in the wind, and that's what they're seeing up there.
Or just, if you want to see something, you see it.
Yeah, that's true too. I always find it like, if you go into a place not hearing anything about it at all, right? Not expecting it to be haunted or whatever, and you experience something, I feel like that would be a lot more authentic and real than if you would go to a place after hearing a load of stories about it, right?
Yeah.
Expecting that you're going to see something and then see something. Because then I feel like,
Yeah.
it's kind of just you're making yourself see what you wanted to see or what you were hoping to see or whatever.
Yeah, and
but if you don't go in there expecting it, you have no expectations and it happens anyway. Then it's like kind of like wow.
Yeah, and the first story you get told when you're staying in that dormitory is the fact that the pregnant woman hung herself and the other one jumped. Like you hear those stories.
Probably.
They're probably like the RA is like, oh yeah.
By the way,
yeah. You might see some people that aren't here. And once you hear that, like late at night, the reason we see stuff at night is because we're so used to, like, our ancestors looked out for predators in the dark. So we're so used to something coming after us in the dark.
Is that why you get that weird like hair on the back of your neck standing up thing? It's like
you can sense danger and stuff.
Flight thing. Oh, dude. I can't remember if this is just like a urban legend or if this is like a true thing, but isn't it like if you are like on a boat or something at night, right? You're not supposed to stare into the water because like it can pull you in.
I've heard something like that.
Is that like a real thing?
No, I think it's an urban legend.
You think it's an urban legend?
Yeah.
I don't know any sailors, so.
Yeah. Well, we'd have to ask someone about that, but yeah. I know
talking
that
about staring out into the darkness. I was like, well,
that's why we see things is because our awareness is so heightened. Like our mind creates stuff because
if there's no threat there, then
we
the
create
way you're
it.
feeling, your heart rate's up, your adrenaline is up, your brain is going to be like, okay, I don't see anything there, but the body's response is telling me that there's something there, so I'm going to kind of fill in
create something.
Yeah, and that way it'll make more sense.
All
type deal. I think that's what a lot of.
Absolutely, that's most of the time we see stuff, and we just want to.
Yeah.
The next one is Maiden's Cliff haunting in Camden. In this tale, a young woman falls to her death on the rocks off Maiden Cliff. During a boisterous day, her hat blew off her head, right, and sailed through the air. In an attempt to retrieve it, the young girl was killed.
What? Okay. that escalated quite quickly. Here we are on a nice windy day. Oh, my bonnet flew off. I died.
Well, I think she chased it and just fell off the cliff.
Probably, but God, the way that just jumped straight to
Yeah.
she was killed.
She either died at the site or was carried home, where she later passed away. Her spirit still haunts the area, which is marked by a white cross. So you actually can go to this place at Maiden Cliff, see the white cross, and that's where this poor woman's hat blew
All
off
she
and
wanted
she
to do
died.
was get her hat.
What if she's like Frosty the Snowman? Like, and the hat gives her power,
Yeah.
and like the hat just blew off and killed her.
No, I think it's more likely that like it was an instinct. The hat flew away. It's probably a pretty valuable hat. If
I mean,
not,
people are just dumb and they try to chase shit. I mean,
Yeah.
like not realizing where she was, or maybe she didn't
It's
realize
like I
the
said,
cliff
she
was so
had,
close.
like a brain fart or something, trying to go get to that hat, not thinking about the fact that
Or maybe she thought she could reach it in time,
maybe
And-
a whole bunch of things could happen.
and like the momentum of her body just carried her.
Or maybe while she was trying to reach for the hat, an eagle swooped down and like attacked her, and she fell.
I was gonna say someone was with her, and they just was like, "Here's my
Pushed her.
chance," and pushed her. Here's my chance. Yeah, she was chasing a hat.
I don't feel like. I feel like if you haunted, if you came back as a ghost for something like that, then you're just stupid. Because like, if you, at least if you're murdered or you die tragically, in a big accident or something like that, I can understand coming back as a ghost for that and haunting out of spite. But if all you do is come back and haunt because like you fell off of a cliff trying to get your hat back,
Yeah.
like why are you? What's the point of you coming back and haunting people? Like, I don't get it. Like you're so mad at yourself that you just
No, I don't think she haunts people. I think she's just there. I think she has unfinished business and stuff.
Oh.
If ghosts are real, I think that's the majority of the reasons why they come back is because
Yeah.
they just weren't finished.
She never got her hat.
Yep. And I think if you give her a hat, she'll move on.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe somebody should go out there and just put a hat on the cross.
Yeah. The legend of Colonel Buck's tomb.
Buck.
The founder of Buck Sport, Colonel Jonathan Buck, fell in love with a woman and she became pregnant with his son. Upon learning this, he forced her to leave, and she spent the next few years raising her son alone.
What?
Yeah, dude.
What?
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Oh my god.
Eventually, the woman came back to Colonel Buck, requesting assistance in caring for his son, which he refused.
He didn't love her then.
Yeah.
God.
To ensure she would not bother him again, he pronounced her a witch and had her burned.
Oh my god.
During the fire, her leg was fetched by her son, who ran away to bury it on his own memorial to his mother. So she was burning, and he just went and grabbed her leg.
Messed up.
Yeah. After Colonel Buck's death, his tomb showed signs of a stain in the form of a leg. Despite attempts to remove it, including changing the stone for a new one, the leg image remained.
That's pretty
and it is still there today.
Huh. Can you imagine something like that happening now? Like you go and you're deciding you're gonna go out to a bar, right? You're just gonna have a one night stand. Like it happens. And then, you have the one night stand and this girl just happens to be, or guy or whatever, just happens to be clingy,
Yeah.
Or they not even clingy, maybe not necessarily the right word, but they think more about what happened than you did, and you're just like, okay, this person's not leaving me alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is supposed to be one night stand. I think I'm going to label her as a witch, but like modern day,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like, oh, you're a witch. Okay. Like, he basically did it to get rid of her.
yeah, exactly.
Like, he's just like, no, I'm not fucking doing this shit. Go the fuck away.
Yeah. It's kind of messed up, though. I mean, own up, dude. You had a kid, take care of it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's weird. Other sightings in Maine include Bigfoot.
Of course.
Yeah, just because it's all the woods and stuff.
I think there are very few places in the United States that do not have Bigfoot sightings at some.
Yeah, and sometimes they go all the way back to like the 1800s. So there has to be something.
Yeah.
There has to be some creature out there that looks like a Bigfoot. I don't know if they've just seen a bear and they're just like, holy shit, that's a weird looking bear.
That's probably just a bear.
Yeah. Others include the Devil's Footprint. Yeah, which is Basically, according to J.W. Oker's The New England Grimpendium, a guide to the macabre and ghastly sights, a crew of yesteryear construction workers in Manchester were trying to move a decent-sized boulder, which, judging by pictures, was roughly the size of a doghouse. But it just wouldn't budge. One of the construction workers climbed up on the rock and swore he'd sell his soul to the devil if the rock could be moved. The next day, the rock had been moved and the construction worker had disappeared.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. All that was left is the evidence that of the deal were some strange indentions on the rock.
I would have to make sure that I would be very specific if I were going to sell my soul.
Yeah, you
For
can't
exactly
just blanket sell your
I was
soul.
going to say, I would be very, very specific. Like, not only would I be specific about what I wanted and make sure I was worded correctly, right? But I'd make sure that my part of the debt wouldn't be paid until, like...
Oh, you're just like entering, you're going to have lawyers and stuff with like
man,
a
I'm not going to sit there and just
300-page
be like,
contract.
because the devil's the devil. I mean, they're just going to look for any way to get, okay, well, you didn't say, how long it would be before I could collect the soul. So the rocks moved. Next day, I take you. Or like somebody that sells their soul to get talented or whatever. There's no guarantee that you're going to stay talented.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a big break and then you just fall right through right after that. And then what are you going to do after that? You lost your chance and now your soul's
It's
taken.
usually how that happens, though. Those indentations, kind of foot-like and reddish in color, were dubbed the Devil's Footprint, and the rock is still there, right next to the North Manchester Meeting House, constructed in 1793, and is part of the wall that rings a cemetery, also reportedly haunted. So the footprints are still there. You can go see them.
Yeah.
So that's
weird.
Yeah, that's freaking creepy as shit, man. There's a lot of other things. There's really haunted cemeteries and stuff. Just because Maine is one of the oldest, states. Of course, it's not as old as Virginia, but it's pretty old. I mean,
yeah, and I think Maine has a lot of stories around it too because of Stephen King's books.
Yeah, absolutely, and also the scariest thing in Maine. Moose.
Moose?
Yeah.
Are there moose in Maine?
Yeah, there's moose in Maine.
Those things swim underwater.
Yeah, dude, they're
They can
freaking.
dive.
They're the most aggressive species of deer.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't mess with a moose.
All right, here's another Stephen King book that was based in Maine, The Mist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maine Mist, possibly inspired by Stephen King's horror movie, The Mist. Maine's thick, haunting fog has taken on a life of its own on Maine folklore. The Mist has blurred vision for many sailors that then wreck their ships on the Maine coast. The same thing has happened to many adventurers in the deep woods, causing them to lose their way. The mist is also a common factor in other Maine legends. For example, it is said that the foggiest place in Maine is Catherine's Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm going to tell you about Catherine's Hill.
Yeah.
The ghost on Catherine's Hill. Between Cherry Field and Franklin on Route 182, there is an area around Fox Pond where the road climbs to a hill. This is where a girl named Catherine is rumored to have lost her life in an accident. She may be the most well-known ghost in Maine, and the most seen, but not all of those who see her get to share their tale.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, you basically wreck where she wrecked and stuff, and it's because of this mist that comes in, and obviously any coastline is gonna have mist.
Yeah.
Like it's cold up there. It's
Obviously,
like warm
gonna
weather,
cause
cold.
wrecks because
Yeah.
it makes it hard to see, which is the point of lighthouses in the first place.
There's a goat man in Maine.
Yeah, I would expect Maine to be kind of a goat man's type state.
Yeah. In the 1950s, a story was told of a man traveling the roads near Cherry Field when, like in a horror movie, his truck suddenly began to slow and then stop. When he got out to check his gas tank for leaks, he was shocked to see a goat man standing in the roadway.
No.
According to his report, the lower half of the legs was a man, naked, but furry and shaped like a goat's. While his body was human and wearing a flannel shirt, his face was human, but he grew horns and had ears like a goat. The spooked man tried to start his truck again as he watched the goat man saunter into the woods.
Sounds like a freaking satyr.
Yeah, or
Something
just a
from
goat, because goats, I think,
Mr.
can
Tumnus from Chronicles
Yeah.
of Narnia and
Yeah.
shit. That's what it sounds like.
goats can stand on their hind legs, can't they?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. He was probably just standing on his hind legs, and he was like fucking scared shitless.
Just a goat.
Yeah. The
Maybe-
goat was just like trying to cross the road, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Goatmen's are creepy though.
The Turner Beast. Back in 2006, after a few neighborhood pets were killed or missing, residents lived in fear of
Chupacabra.
what lurked in the forest in the Turner area. But after they found a mutant beast, beast was found, possibly killed by a car, the beast turned out to be a wolf-dog hybrid, and the attack stopped. But it leads one to wonder what else lurks out there.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's probably just a fucking wolf hybrid. I'm sure because there's wolves in Canada, so I'm sure, Maine's like bordering Canada, so I would not be surprised if wolves were in
I always
Maine.
wanted to go to Maine.
Me too. I want to live
Like,
in Maine.
Maine's a pretty place to live.
Yeah, it gets really bad in the winter though.
I like that though. The colder and more snow for me, the better.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know fairies and leprechauns have been seen in Maine?
No.
Yeah. This legend from Native American tribes describes people are similar to what we now call hobbits, leprechauns, or fairies.
Little people.
Yeah, little people. Some good, some evil. These little people are supposedly all around us. We just might not notice them. Some play nasty tricks. Others can be very helpful, like things with gardens. So gnomes.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So that's pretty much all we have for Maine.
That's cool.
Definitely a lot of. If you guys want to look up the Bigfoot sightings, because I kind of want to do a whole episode on Bigfoot because there's so much and it's been seen. He's been seen everywhere. So I don't want to get into the sightings per se in this episode, but we will. But there's been a lot that go all the way back to the 1800s. So
Probably before that, just recorded since the 1800s.
oh yeah, I'm sure there's Native American lore surrounding Sasquatch or
Something
Bigfoot.
different, yeah.
Now, is Sasquatch and Bigfoot two different things?
No, I think they're both a name for the same creature. It is different when you get into like Yeti or Abominable Snowman, though. While it's the same type of creature, it's like specifically, it would be like a polar bear versus a grizzly bear type
Yeah.
deal.
All right. Well,
They're
those
all
were
like these big simian like creatures. you
yeah.
know?
Those were Urban Legends Maine. We hope you enjoyed them.
Definitely.
Maine is, like we said, a beautiful state. I really want to live up there. So not in Derry though. I don't want to live where it is.
Yeah, Maine seems like it's.
I don't think it's a real place, but
No.
but no, it does look beautiful and everything. So yeah, you guys, hope you enjoyed it. Next week is Blackbeard. It might be 2 parts. I don't know. Depending on how long and much we can find for them. We kind of just want to keep it. I want to keep it 1 episode for Blackbeard, but we'll see how it goes. So there's a lot of information on Blackbeard. So
Yeah.
a lot more than the Pirate King.
Yeah, Henry Avery.
Yeah. So you guys, can follow us on that link below. Our Patreon's linked up to that. Our store for our merch. We got some new merch in there.
Merch.
Yep. So if you guys just want to follow us, give us that 5-star rating. If nothing else, just do that. That would be great.
Yeah.
It helps us out, word of mouth and all that stuff. But we will see you next week for Blackbeard. And yeah,
Thanks for listening.
thank you.